Yeah, you guys all just talk right over that.
Yeah. Were you impressed with my public speaking
I
skills?
missed all the announcements and I was so uninformed.
But were you impressed with my public speaking skills?
Oh, they were top notch.
Thank you.
I didn't have this back to you.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
They were top notch. Top notch.
He doesn't like charity. He's complaining about charity.
I was complaining about charity.
No, not you.
I already donated. I clicked on the
He
link.
said he hates it when people beg for money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cold.
Jake,
Like,
you
he thought we were making money.
He was like, yeah, he's like, himself. And I'm like, he never donated. I definitely, I looked at my card. Really? That's the kind of person you are?
That is weird.
Here you go.
Yeah, you haven't done it. Yeah, yours. I'm looking at yours right in my face.
Whatever. I'm the one that I did.
I had to see.
Right? I got some purchase.
Yeah, you need to do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that.
I spent a lot of time.
Like during our class.
Take one of those photos.
We literally could buy it by the pins. Like, what do you do? Just the rocker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I like it.
not chill, but like. Yeah, and he's good.
And
Okay, bye.
yeah.
We're in the front row, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was construction. Okay. So this little quiz here.
Yeah, can you crack the window?
Why are you hot?
Yes. It's like 90 degrees in here.
No way. I have a sweater on. I'm normally the hot one.
Yeah, you are.
Normally I'm sweating. Crazy. It's okay. I look the window. I don't want to freak you out. Are you okay? Did you have a sweater on too? Are you hot? She's a jam. Number one, okay, so that one converges. I would probably use the either the direct comparison test or the limited comparison test, either one. With 1 over n squared. Number two, that one was the most missed one, I think. We're running over this little quiz here. You didn't get one?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
You already just
Number two, that one was the most missed one. So, you know, you probably needed to see this, I guess. That this and this, those are the same. Like, it's really helpful to be able to rewrite things, you know, using the exponent rules. And then once you're here, I mean, you could almost pick any p series you want. But the most obvious one would just be to pick 1 over n squared. I mean, this is way less. That's way less than 1 over n squared. Okay. Number three was an integral test problem. When you do that integral test, you end up with 1 over u squared. And that's going to converge. Number four, that converges. I would use the limit comparison test with 1 over n squared. But you have to, but that's definitely the easiest way. Number five converges. I would do a comparison test with 1/3 to the n. And then number six, that converges absolutely because number one converged. I mean, number one and number six were the same. I don't know if you caught that or not. I'm not sure if everybody caught that. And then number six, the common thing here, so you had to think of it like that first, right? then you have to recognize that this is geometric, but the common ratio is 1 over e squared, not 1 over e. A lot of people wanted the common ratio to be 1 over e squared. So it ends up being, the first term is 1, so it's 1 over 1 minus 1 over e squared. So that's fast. Question? So let's talk about tomorrow briefly. So on your test tomorrow, there's like, I think it's like 14 questions. And there are 10 problems where you just have to, like, I give you a series and you tell me if it converges or diverges and then tell me which test you use. However, in those 10 problems, you will be required to use the integral test, the ratio test, the limit comparison test, and the nth term test. You'll have to use those 4 tests at least one time. I have to see that you did those 4 tests at least once. Okay? And you get to decide when you use it. You could use them more than once. Now, chances are you're only going to use the integral test once. Nobody likes the integral test, right? Ellie, you like the integral test? Oh, you hate the integral test. Yeah.
Is it gonna be like a use of or integration by parts?
That depends on which one you choose. So it could be either. Yeah. Talk to me.
Do I get the paper with like the summary of the test?
The purple paper?
Yeah.
I love this paper. I do. Did you get a purple paper? Does anybody else want a purple paper? Actually, I like saying purple paper. So that'll be the first 10 questions. Then you'll have 4 other questions that are just series related. Like, it'll ask you questions about convergence and divergence. Some geometric series problems, finding sums, that sort of thing.
Wait, what?
What?
So they're just like, what is?
Well, like I might say find the sum of a geometric series, or I might say write this repeating decimal as fraction, or I might say like, here's a series. What will make this converge? Like that. I also, if you didn't notice, I put in the Google a some just practice series problems. What that is that I posted on Google. It's a Google form. That was last year's class's test over this when we were online. Yeah.
Can you make that so
I just switched it. It should.
okay.
And if did you do? Were you? I checked this morning. There were 3 people that did it. Were you one of the 3? Okay. Did you get an email that got you your answers? Because you maybe found an error. Like I know you did it because yours was the first one that popped up, and it said you got like 10 out of 13 or something. You missed, and one of the ones that you missed, you actually got right. Because I caught an error and didn't keep it. Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. I didn't even think about that. I'm gonna do that right now. I mean, that's genius.
I didn't get an email.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, settings, limit to 1 response. No, I'm changing that. Yeah, you can do it all day now. Annie, I'm gonna try to fix it right now. Let's see. Responses, individual. Release score. Okay, so it's gonna release U3 since you've already done it. But now it should everybody when they do it, it should release it. Did you get purple paper? Oh, you weren't here. So you wouldn't. Other question. Just throw that on the desk, I think. So are we all happy and ready for a big test? So how many tests are we going to have? Yeah.
So for an alternating series, for it to diverge, on Delta Math it said that the variable in the numerator, its exponent has to be greater than the exponent in the denominator. And
You don't have that backwards?
yeah, that's how it,
In order for it to diverge?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Because, well, think about that, what that means. If the exponent of the numerator is greater than the exponent of the denominator, the terms aren't going to go to 0. So.
And then there were ones on the worksheet where it was just, where they were balanced, I guess, if they had the same exponent.
For alternating?
Yeah.
Which one?
There was one on the worksheet.
On the alternating series worksheet?
Yeah.
Oh, then those
And those
diverge. Yeah. If the terms are not going to 0, they diverge. Game over. Like you don't, I mean, it doesn't have a chance.
You still ignore the negative one.
Yeah, because the negative 1 to the n only helps you if the term, when I say helps you, like gives you a chance of convergence when the terms are going to 0. If the terms aren't going to 0, it's going to diverge, period, no matter what. I mean, in every single time. Like, game, set, match. It's just unfair. So we'll have our test tomorrow. So we're having a sub tomorrow, right? I told you that? Or you're having a sub? She's very nice. She subbed for Mr. Sullivan the other day. She's actually going to medical school in the fall. But she's just killing some time. She was actually kind of bummed that you had the test. She actually wanted to teach math. So, let's see. So our test tomorrow. This is going to be, I'm leaving this for her for you to take as like your homework to do. I may even give this to you today, depending on how the rest of the period unfolds. So then we're going to start power series, which is this. If you remember, we said like when we're talking about infinite series, there's two big things: series of constants, and what was the other thing? Do you remember? Did anybody listen? Well, yeah, it's power series because what is it? I didn't call it that back then. Like polynomials, okay? So that's what we're getting ready to start, and we're going to do that. And that should finish us out. So we'll have another test over just power series. That'll be another test for this 9 weeks. And then we have an exam. So like, it is my goal. Like I am really, hoping that we can get that power series stuff done. In a somewhat timely fashion, so that we don't necessarily, those of you that are seniors don't have to live here every day after the last day. I don't think we'll have to. So, but it's going to require some efforts. Like we might have to do a similar thing that we did next week with air testing. Is it really just next week and the week after, right? That's it. Yeah. It's 2 weeks. I don't think we can do it in 2 weeks, but I think we could do it in 3. and like be done. So that would be great. And that might even mean having the exam at the end of that 3rd week. So like, good course. Then you wouldn't even have to worry about that week of graduation. Question?
Have you thought about live streaming it for the seniors?
What's that?
Your class.
Well, my thought is like, you mean like after you guys' last day?
Right.
I haven't really thought much about that. I mean, just thinking right now about that, like I'm worried that you're just not going to do it. And like, and then you'll end up taking that risk of not doing it. Like it's not going to be like, you have to learn that content, right? I mean, we're going to have a test over it that is essentially accounting for 40% of your quarter grade. Think about that for a second. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, right? Like I would think that you would want to be here and be engaged as much as possible. Now I also get that you want to be out, whatever it is that you're going to be doing during that time, doing that, I don't know, working, like hanging out with your friends and getting into trouble, hopefully not. Nobody in here would get into trouble, right? During those 2 weeks? I don't think so. Would you get in trouble? So, I mean, and I can't force you to come in. Like, I'll still live stream it. Like, I mean, whatever it is that we do. Because I'm live streaming it now. So, I mean, I can't force you, but my thought is, I know myself. And if I were in that situation, I probably wouldn't watch it. And I would say, oh, I'll watch that later. And then I would scramble trying to figure all this out on my own. And then I would end up failing a test. That's what I would do if I were 17 years old. If I made the choice to not do it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to force you. I can't force you, really. I've really got no power over you at all. So, other questions? No? So we're all ready for a test? I mean, I feel like the quizzes have been pretty good. I mean, I'm happy about that. The ratio test seems like it's, going okay. The folks that were here Monday and Tuesday, if you weren't here Monday and Tuesday, I mean, presumably maybe you watched the video, but we went over all the ratio test problems. The kids that were here seemed to get that pretty well, so I feel pretty good about that. I will tell you, like, that thing that's online that I posted yesterday, that's actually probably harder than your actual test. I mean, just because, a few of the questions are pretty complex, but if you understand those questions, like, you really know what you're doing. So, yeah.
Do you have any of those extra purple sheets that have all the tests on?
You mean the purple papers?
Yeah.
Oh man. You must have been out taking the quiz when we were making a big deal about the purple papers. It's like purple people eaters. So we didn't learn the root test. That's on there. I think I wrote did not learn. What time we get there? 21? Well, let's just do this right now. Yeah. Well, what's your question, Adele?
I was gonna say, can we do some alternating series tests?
What do you mean?
Like practice problems? That's the one that I struggle.
So Adele, when you see a series that's alternating, first of all, how do you know it's alternating?
The -1 to the end.
Okay, that's one way. And what's another way?
And the cosine, cosine,
Like the cosine of n pi, or sine of odd pi over 2s. That was probably the harder of the two to recognize. So if you see that it's alternating, Then what are you going to do?
Then you see if it goes to 0.
What goes to 0?
Terms go to 0.
And if they go to 0, what are you going to say?
It converges.
It converges. If they don't go to 0, what are you going to say? It diverges. Like it's literally that simple. Then, if you want to determine if it's absolute or conditional, so you ignore the -1 to the end, and then you just look at that as a regular old series that's not alternating. And then you perform one of the tests on them. And you can wave your hands on those tests. Like, if you see it reduces to 1 over n squared, just say converges. Absolutely. Right? Like, don't make alternating series harder than it is. Literally, if terms are going to 0 and they're alternating, you're done. Converging.
So if you see cosine n pi or sine pi over 2 at all, you just know those are going to diverge for alternating series.
Well, no, not necessarily, because if you see this, if you see just this, Maddie, cosine of n pi, yes, that diverges. Is that alternating? Yes. However, the terms aren't going to 0 because they're just 1 and -1, right? But if you see this, that's a totally different discussion. Because what are the terms doing in this one, Abdel? They're going to 0, right? So this one converges. This one diverges. So you asked me if I see cosine of n pi, do I know it diverges? I don't know about that. Okay, but now this one converges because the terms are going to 0. Yeah. Like with the sine, so that would look like something like this: sine of 2n minus 1 over. How do I write this? 2n minus 1. Stupid. Here we go. Like those two series, this and this, they're the same thing. They're the exact same thing. Now this one scares you a lot more. I don't know why. This one scares us all. It doesn't scare me more, but it might have scared me more at one time. But this one definitely scares you more. And I don't know why, but maybe it's this. This just looks so cute and nice. But you have to just recognize that 2n minus 1 over times pi over 2, that's the way that you get odd multiples of pi over 2. 1 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2, 7 pi over 2. What's next? 9 pi over 2, 11 pi over 2. That's how you generate odd numbers. Some people might even, but you can't do this when you're in the context of a series, because we need to plug in various values of n and get an odd number. That's the only way that you can do this. If you could just plug in certain values of n, some people will write this, like k pi over 2, where k is odd. Maybe you did that last year in pre-calc. But you don't have that option of just choosing odd ends when you're writing a series. You have to make the odd ends happen. So, does that make sense? But those two series are the same thing. And they both converge. Absolutely.
So what would you ignore then if you want to do absolute value?
The sign, this part right here. This right here, this right here, and this right here are all doing the same thing. They're making a +1, -1, a +1, a -1. It's just different ways. In fact, those pretty much, in this context, those are the only three ways that you can get a positive 1, negative 1, positive 1, negative 1, positive 1, negative 1. There's no other way that you can generate it in the context of a series. What's the most common? Negative 1 again. You see that one close. Adele, does that help? Does that help?
So on the practice that you posted, there was one that was sine n over 3 to the n. But that's not.
That's not right. And there was one on the worksheet, on the ratio test worksheet. There was one like that. Except I think it was cosine of n. But that actually is one of my favorite ones. Like, it was this. On the practice thing, I think it was sine of n over 3 to the n. Was that what it was? That is not an alternating series. Because depending on what n is, that sign might be positive or negative. It's not n pi. N pi is what causes 1 and negative, or sorry, it's not odd pi over 2s. Odd pi over 2s is what would cause a positive 1, negative 1. But like, n equals 1. That's going to be positive. Sine of 1 is positive. N equals 2. That's going to be positive, because sine of 2 is a positive number. How do I know that? Because 2 is in the second quadrant. Sine of 3, that's going to be a positive number, because 3 is in the second quadrant. It's just short of pi. But when n equals 4, sine of 4 is a negative number. So that would have a negative value. So yes, this will have some terms that are positive and some terms that are negative, but it's not strictly alternating, not positive, negative, you know what I mean? So you might look at that, you might look at that and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Right? This one involves some thought, and this one is actually like using the direct comparison test, like at its, like, this is like, what is that expression my kids use? Low key. This is like low key comparison test, direct comparison test. Because, and maybe I'm using that incorrectly, I don't know. But, because I'm going to compare this to 1 over 3 to the n. And if you understand the sine function, or on the worksheet that I gave you, it was a cosine, but it works the same way. If you understand the sine function, this is a very easy comparison. Because sine is always between -1 and 1. So you're basically taking something always between -1 and 1 and multiplying it by 1 over 3 to the n. Which means it has to be less than 1 over 3 to the n. So that converges. Like, this has to be less than 1 over 3 to the n, because, you know, think about it this way. It's sine of n times 1 over 3 to the n, right? This right here, no matter what n is, it's always going to be a fraction of what 1 over 3 to the n. It's going to be some fraction times 1 over 3 to the n. That's slick. And that involves some thinking and some analysis. Like, I love that. And virtually no work. It's all in your head. It's all thought. But yeah, we need to understand that that is not alternating. Okay? That is not alternating. Some terms are going to be positive. Some terms are going to be negative. In fact, it'll cycle. Every 3 weeks, you'll have 3 positives in a row, then you're going to have 3 negatives in a row. Then you have 3 positives in a row, 3 negatives in a row for a while, and then it'll start to switch. Because of that little fraction of what's left over between 3 and pi. So I'm going to do my best to have these tests graded on Monday. I'm going to have the sub get them to my wife, and my wife is going to bring them home. It's all going to depend on what time I get home on Sunday, because I'm going out of town. So when I get home on Sunday, if I get home not at 10 o'clock at night, then I'm going to grade these real fast, so that we can get them back to you. I hope I can get it done. It's too bad I can't grade them on the way home and drive it back. But I don't have them in my hands. I don't want you waiting. And then you're going to do it on Monday?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Soccer?
Yeah.
Are you going too?
Yeah.
So you want to do it on, are you going too?
I won't be here. No.
Everyone's just taking tomorrow off. I mean, I can't play. I guess I am. I'm going fishing. So, so what?
Nothing. What about seniors?
Oh, well, that's your problem.
Who are you fishing with?
Who am I fishing with?
Okay.
I'm fishing with Miss Merrill and Miss Ryberg. Not them. Their dad and Miss Merrill's husband at North Lake. Striper fishing. I don't know what stripers are. They're big muckers. So like he got a charter boat. So we've got a guy. Hopefully this guy knows how to fish stripers.
Can you beat it?
Probably. I don't know for sure, but I would assume that we would. I mean, they have to be a certain size, and they can't. There's only a window that you can eat them in. They have to be so big and so small because they don't want. Well, actually, those stripers though in Norris, they can't reproduce, so that may just be a minimum size that you have to eat. But like if the fish reproduce, like they want the big ones to have more babies, and they also want the little ones to be old enough so that they're having babies. So
They can't reproduce.
I was hoping you would ask that. Yeah, they can't reproduce because they're like GMO fish. Like these fish, striped bass, are technically a ocean fish that then they crossbred and created a hybrid striped bass. And this hybrid striped bass cannot reproduce. And they basically introduced those into lots of lakes just for sport fishing. I'm pretty sure that they cannot reproduce. It's like Jurassic Park, but fish.
How did they not die off? How?
They could.
They
They
make
keep making more. I guess.
Are they invasive?
No.
But there can't be.
They're like hybrid.
That's what I feel like.
All that stuff. It's like a
Do they
bird, right?
just eat the small fish?
They do eat smaller fish, but I think a lot of times they get caught out. People catch them, keep them.
It's not catching the disease.
I'm going to find all this out. I'm interested in all these questions I'm going to ask the guy tomorrow. I'll let you know on Monday. I've always been told, and I think Piper is, Molly's dad told me that they can't reproduce, that they're hybrid and they can't reproduce. But it doesn't make sense that and I know they stocked them for years and then they stopped stocking them. So I was always under the impression that whatever hybrid striped bass is in swimming around that we catch tomorrow, has been in there since it was this big, and just grew. Norris Lake is a humongous lake. I mean, it's like bigger than Kettering. So I don't know. We'll find out. And maybe we'll catch other types of fish too. I don't know. Regular bass, which those do reproduce. So, do you want me to give you this paper now, or do you just want to have her give it to you tomorrow? Hopefully she remembers. That what that paper is sort of like our introduction to the power source. All right, now I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna see what Google says. Hybrid striped bass reproduce. Oh wait, I stand corrected. Hybrid striped bass, unlike some other hybrids, is fertile. It is oviparous, which is a great vocabulary word. Egg laying. Yeah, so they can.
What was the word?
Oviparous. They lay eggs. You never heard that before? My daughter learned that in the first grade. Mrs. Bowser at Southdale. I remember that. Oviparous.
No, first. I barely even know addition.
Both of my had. Who had Mrs. Bowser? Did anybody here have Mrs. Bowser at Southdale? Well, you weren't there. Who went to Southdale? You didn't have Mrs. Bowser? Who was your first grade teacher? Oh yeah, Rachel Williams. Yeah. Oviparous. It's a first grade word. I'm not kidding. Oviparous means egg laying. Ovi, like ova, ovum, ovary. You ever heard of ovaries? They learn about animals that lay eggs, and that word is, I'm not kidding, I swear to you. Both of my kids had Mrs. Bowser, and they learned the word oviparous. Well, you learned it here first. Wow. I mean, when you go home today and say, what did I learn in school today? You can say, I learned that hybrid striped bass are fertile and they can reproduce because they're oviparous. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to text Mrs. Bowser right now. Oviparous. Yeah.
So in that thing you put on classroom last night, is that optional if you want to do that?
Yeah, that's optional.
Okay. Totally up to you, right?
I thought about making it like bonus points.
Do you have a 10 period class?
I don't.
Okay, so I'll do that on Monday. Does that work?
I
We can also do it universal hours. That's better.
yeah, I think that'll work.
All right. Can I still grab that worksheet though?
What worksheet?
The introduction worksheet.
Oh, because you're not going to be here.
Yeah,
that's smart. You probably won't be able to get through all of that. Like, I'm expecting that the last question you're going to have some issues with. Okay, I will sort of by some. All right. You know what the word oviparous? No.
again?
All the homework, it took me forever.
How much was it?
It was the 50 pages of reading.
Yeah.
Common lit.
Yeah.
Common lit analysis.
Yeah.
And that 45-minute video.
What do you do with the video?
But I did everything else, so.
It was just a good.
What's it over?
Breaking down the process for essays. I can give you that.
That'd be nice.
Then we're gonna take pictures. A bit. I mean, I doubt she's gonna do anything with it.
Hey man, I did everything else, so.
Did you actually read the book?
So,
It was so boring.
was it?
Like that section you were supposed to read yesterday. It was on like him reading from that book he got. So it's just like boring.
I read the whole first section, and then like the first, like part one, I read all of that, and then part two, I all part.
Yeah.
She has to read it. She just not.
If it was like 10, 15 pages a night,
I'd rather have it like every night a week than
Yeah.
10.
because that's more structured.
Yes,
And if she leaves it
Instead
till
of
Monday,
just-
then I'm not gonna do it till Sunday night.
exactly. I'll do it Wednesday night, then Sunday. Honestly, probably stop.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could, but am I gonna do it?
Same here.
I just wanna be done with it. You know? At least they're not like half bad. Like I didn't like him. Like the other two were fine. Like this one's like. Boring was easy. You didn't actually read it.
I've read some of it, but never all of it. Wait, yes. There we go.
Got it in the towers, you said? It was me and a bench yesterday. Me and a bunch of Annie ears. Yeah. It's kind of nice though.
It was our whole class, and then most of the.
It was kind of nice.
You have really big classes. What?
You like being around a lot of people?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Not.
Did you see that school forming person? Aaron put on yesterday, and then he fixed it like at like 2 yesterday. So. I didn't actually look at it. Tomorrow.
You thought it was today?
Yeah, it's straight up.
That would be more fun. That would be cool. If it was today, I would cry.
Well, I was prepared for it to be today.
The test?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
This year, I
Yeah. All right, even better. Well, I think it's today. It might be tomorrow.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, today. Today's Thursday.
I bet it's true. Aren't you in? I bet you took chemistry software.
I did. I won't. Not take me. They don't take me eventually. If you get
Someone else did that. Fair enough.
Sam, what do you want to do?
I'm not good at this.
You want to be a physicist?
Yeah. You're
That
right.
makes sense.
You're right.
Makes a lot of sense.
I don't actually do nothing. So,
Yeah, what is it? Physicist even do?
yeah, not true, but I can't tell the theory.
If I could take anyone from like the whole school to do that, Sam, I would take you. Like that just fits so well.
He's gonna like cure cancer.
That's not what physics is.
Sam, you have to understand, none of us actually know what we're talking about. So when you correct this, it doesn't really help.
I know that a physicist probably doesn't cure cancer, but I bet if anyone
It's like
can do it, it's
something
probably.
Something that fitting.
I'm only really good at this. That's not that different. This is doctors.
Oh, yeah, physics, right?
Who would that be? Pathologists. Pathologists? Yeah, they're like.
Whoa, I forgot we have class.
Like the medical doctor comes out to check your knees.
Yeah.
You had error.
Yeah, you're gonna do it right now.
Think of that kind of doctor.
I came in like multiple times this morning and you were sick.
Right?
You came in this morning?
Yeah.
What time?
Um,
I kind of got here late this morning.
I came in multiple times.
I woke up late this morning. Normally my daughter wakes the whole house up, like she gets up and she didn't today. She got late. You have to do this too?
Yeah.
You can go to the office if you want, so you don't have to sit on the floor.
Okay.
I would too.
That's kind of weird.
I like sitting on the floor. I was doing my homework on the floor. I don't have a desk. I don't get on the table. Yeah,
Anywhere in your house.
it's too loud in like the living room or like my living room. It's too loud. I just do it in my room, but I don't want to do it in my bed. So I don't want to associate my bed with like doing homework. So I do it on the floor.
Okay, so
No,
I've got a few quizzes to pass around.
My English notebook, yeah.
One table.
Alex,
No, I haven't.
Mia.
Huh?
I don't know why I didn't get this back to you yesterday when I saw you.
Yeah, I don't know either. I was gonna ask you for it and then I forgot. Do you want to see it? No, I can do it.
I don't know, do I? I mean,
It's gonna be my tree.
oh, this is an oak tree? You and Ivy biology?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are Mrs. Merrill grew these.
I'm gonna put it in a pot.
Where is it?
It's,
Oh, it's still in there, yeah. I thought she was giving you like little 1-year-old ones, so that we thought it was-
yeah.
There's a whole tree.
Oh, you can see it in there?
Can you dig around?
It's an oak tree.
Yeah, there were some black guys in there.
You can put it on top.
So you're gonna put it in a
Like a Reese cup. But
Yeah.
a lot of
Pot,
it.
and then-
It looks like
Tree looks like.
know where you're gonna put it?
Good idea, guys. Hang out.
Like, where do we want to have a little tree? And that's crazy. Those oak trees.
You go hiking.
No.
I know all the trees.
You've probably seen it.
What?
Buckeye tree.
A buckeye tree?
No idea.
Yeah, I can't actually picture what a buckeye tree looks like right now off the top of my head.
Can we look it up? Like, can you get on your smartboard?
I'm not sure if you'll even be able to tell.
Buckeye tree is loud. I thought we do.
Buckeye tree.
Yeah, and I was prepared for the test today, so I'm already, yeah, I thought I was prepared for it today, so I'm already prepared.
Yeah, these. These pictures aren't going to help very a whole lot. The Buckeyes are actually inside of a casing, though. Like, do you know what a Buckeye looks like? You know why they're called Buckeyes? Because they look like a deer's eye, exactly. But they're the thing that you think of what a Buckeye looks like, they're actually inside of a thing like a walnut.
Yeah, I think they're like a,
Oh no, that's
at least that's what I thought.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if that's gonna really help you.
Are those like a Delco?
But see how look, the Buckeyes are inside of a casing like a walnut. I didn't know that.
I didn't know they did a pawpaw shelter.
Have you ever seen a pawpaw tree?
Yeah, but
Have you ever eaten a pawpaw?
no.
Like it's my goal this summer. I know of a place where there are tons of pawpaw trees.
Is my pawpaw shelter?
There are some there, but there's not very many there. The thing about pawpaws is like as soon as they become ripe, the animals get them. Like, I mean, they get them almost instantly.
They have them at Northern Trail Capital, like Capital.
Yeah, where the pawpaw shelter is in Hills and Dales.
Yeah.
Like they're there.
I hike there all the time.
What is it?
Yeah. Do you know what the tree looks like? Yeah. Have you ever seen seen a pawpaw hanging on a tree?
The state fruit of Ohio, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They're
State fruit of
They're
Ohio.
fruit.
it's a fruit. Yeah.
And then,
They're delicious,
Never
but they're really hard to get because the animals get them as soon as they become ripe.
The state festival of Wyoming. Wow.
So,
Wyoming.
How do you know these things?
Well, that wouldn't look like a trivia question.
but do you know what the word oviparous means?
Only to evaporate.
Nope.
Like,
Didn't you have Mrs. Bowser? Did you have Mrs. Bowser for first grade? Oviparous is my daughters learned that word in first grade from Mrs. Bowser. It's an animal that lays eggs.
Were you just talking about that out in the hallway?
Because no one in my last grade class knew about it.
It's such an obscure word.
All right, so let's talk about tomorrow is a test, right? Big test. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. And your test is going to have on it 14 questions. The first 10 are just going to be like, here's a series. You tell me if it converges or diverges and which test you used. However, the caveat with that is going to be you will have to use the ratio test, the integral test, the limit comparison test, and the nth term test one time on those 10 problems, at least once. You can use them multiple, but you have to use those once. And I actually have a little thing at the top that you can keep track. So you can see that one. But you can use any other tests, and you can use those tests multiple times if you want. Then the next 4 questions will be other questions about series and their convergence and whatnot. I might ask you to find the sum of a geometric series. I might ask you to find to write a repeating decimal as a fraction. So I put online yesterday in the Google a practice like Google form. And what that Google form is, it's actually last year when we were during the stay-at-home world, when everybody's living in their bedrooms. That was last year's class test over tests. We had to do it online. So I put that on there for you to just practice. So you can do it multiple times. There's 10 questions on it.
Do you have it set up to where it shows the?
It'll kick back, yeah, it'll kick the answer back to you. Yeah. I don't think it'll show you, I don't think it shows you immediately. I think you get an email.
I don't know. There's like a thing that. There's usually. I don't know.
Is it on Google Forms?
Yeah.
I used Google Forms a lot last year, and then I kind of stopped using them because there were other things when we went to online this year. Okay, I think settings. Yeah, I think I have it. I don't know any other way to. I think it's going to kick an email after you submit it. Or maybe it'll just tell you after you submit it how you did right away. I don't know. I thought it kicked out an email. I will say the ones that are on that that online thing, a couple of them are harder than what you would have on your test tomorrow. So other questions for me? Get some new shoes. You're getting new shoes today?
They're already
Oh, you didn't deliver. I'm getting. Where? I just ordered them. There's specific brands that you're allowed to get. So I think we got them. Which brands are you allowed to get?
I think we can get any brand. It just has to be the same priority. The ones I'm getting are T8. If you personally like that.
How much they cost? Yeah.
Will there be, I assume, one more test after this one?
Yes. So our plan is this. So tomorrow we have a test. After your test, the sub who is very nice, she will give you. You won't know her. Her name's Claire Bulba. She subbed for Sullivan a couple weeks ago. She's actually graduated from college back in May of last year, and she took this year off. She's applied to medical school. She's going to medical school in the fall. But she just kind of, I'll just come and do some stuff. That might be kind of fun. She was actually kind of bummed that she's not going to get to teach actual practice. She likes math. But So she'll give you this paper tomorrow, after your test is over. That's gonna be your homework for the weekend. That's gonna be sort of like your introduction to what's coming next. So remember, if you think about when we said we're studying infinite series, there are two things that we're gonna study: series of constants, which is what we're doing right now, and polynomials, which is what's coming. So the polynomial side is coming. That's gonna, what she gives you tomorrow is gonna sort of be your like introduction to that. So then we're gonna do power series, is what we call that. We'll do that for basically the rest of the year. And then we'll have a test over that. And then we'll have our exam. So I don't know yet. But I am feeling fairly confident that we will be able to get what we need to get done. Especially if we do next week's air testing like we did this week's. We should be able to get done most of what I want to get done within the week of seniors' first week out. So worst case scenario, the exam then is like maybe possibly that Friday, the first week seniors are out, or like the following Monday.
We don't have another exam like during your exam. And I can tell like 2 exams during exam.
No, you will not have another exam during exam week.
I'm not. No, I'll be sick.
You're gonna be sick.
Well, Kevin says we should all come in for the exam anyway, so
No.
I'm telling you right now, I'll be sick.
Oh. Well,
That's what Senora Amy did. She had us take our exam like during the quarter, and then for the actual exam, it was just like fun games. We went in like Spanish bingo.
and that was her way of getting you not to exempt it.
Yes.
It's the loophole.
I don't have to take any exams. It's actually during the exam week.
Yeah, we have to take the AP test.
Yeah, I just think both those and I have to take this one. Like I'm exempting the other two, and the area doesn't actually.
Exam week seems like an eternity away. I mean, really, but it's not. I mean, the crazy thing is, what happens here after May 20th, which is graduation.
Let's watch movies.
So I've got you, Nicole, no, Nicole's. And then I've got like 6 or 7 in that last period.
You could teach us long division again.
Who uses long division?
Calculator.
I could make a pretty strong case that nobody should learn long division.
Cursive. Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I know how to write cursive.
We never got.
What was it, the third grade? You didn't learn cursive?
And then like, we learned how to write our names, and then we're like, all right, you're good.
I mean, I learned cursive in the 2nd grade, but I don't write in cursive. I haven't written in cursive since.
I can't do the calculator, I can do the.
We got to like the letter J, and then we stopped. I know how to write, because everyone
I
ever
know,
said
my mom didn't learn. I just learned that.
Do we have any questions?
I thought the test was today.
You want to take it right now?
No.
You just take it right now and then you can go fishing with me tomorrow if you want.
No, I don't think I can take it in 10 minutes.
Where you go to the I don't think you should have still think it should have just been 40, like conversion or diversion. Okay. If you thought then you have a 1 in a billion chance of getting 100%, yes.
That would be good.
You want to guess?
That would be good. I think that would actually be a really good. It would be kind of fun to take that.
You get extra
Yeah.
credit. Oh, first of all, fun to take the test.
Yeah, we're gonna have
That
a
should never be in the same.
I just gave you 30 series and you just tell me conversion diversion.
Just for convert, first get 50%. Or actually all the
And I would give you 100% if you missed every single question.
No.
If you have to know the right.
Yeah, there's no way you can miss
You
every.
have to know how to solve them.
Yeah, you have to know. I did my first year of teaching. I did that with my semester exam at the end of the year. I gave them a multiple choice one on Scantron. You guys even know what Scantron is?
Yeah.
And like, is that even a thing? And I told them, I said, if you miss every question, I'll give you 100%. And this girl, Caroline Jackson, she tried it.
Wait,
She just tried it just to see if she could do it.
she didn't do it, so she got like a horrible.
Well, I went back. It wouldn't have mattered. She probably had her. She was pretty genius. She went hard. But she was in my pre-calc honors classes. So, yeah, I taught honors pre-calc for like 12 years. I actually really miss teaching honors pre-calc. I liked teaching honors pre-calc. I really liked teaching.
Rich teaches it a lot like Kevin teaches us.
Because I had cringe, probably. I had cringe for honors pre-calc. I really liked having honors pre-calc and then calc because it was so fun. I would get the same group of kids 2 years in a row. And I did that for calc 3 still. It was just more. I mean, I would have 45, 50 kids every year that I had 2 years in a row. So now it's only like 10. Some kids I had 3 years because I had them for honors pre-calc, then calc, and then calc 3. It's like a trifecta. That's one hand.
It's the highest level of calculus. Like, even if it's at like college, like there's calc 1, calc 2, calc 3, like what is it, calc 2?
Calc 3.
That's it.
So what did you say?
So I mean, after the calculus sequence, you take other courses like differential equations. Then you'll start taking more theoretical classes, like theoretical math.
Hold up. Samuel doesn't know something.
I'm playing with anything like combinatorics. Combinatorics is graph theory.
Combinatorics is like where you studied it, like how to. Simple combinatorics would be you have a group of 20 people. How many committees of 6 can you make out of the 20 people? Like that's simple combinatorics.
Yeah, I only need like another like. I think I need.
We need English credit.
I need 2 more English classes. I need 1 more physics credit, and I need to do credit. That's all I need. I
Like
could.
psychology, it's super easy and super.
I don't have time.
Who here did CCP English?
I'm in the English. I'm going to.
You in English now?
Yeah.
He's an AP.
I know. Sadly.
Who's your teacher?
Cruises, remember?
Oh yeah.
And Mark question.
This is a good group.
I know. Make sure that you tell your friends if you think you may not be very smart or likely to do something dumb. That the theme of the week is DBS, just become stupid. So we have prom coming up. Everybody is getting searched if you come in. The absolute last thing I want to do is find a smoke or or something like that in somebody's pocket or their purse, and they don't get to come in. I hate finding stuff like that. So it's just a reminder that we are searching everybody. Your tuxedo is not being sold by Mr. Fogg. It doesn't come with something in it, okay? So, Mr. Fogg's a popular smoker.
I was like, isn't Mr. Fogg the teacher over there? Isn't his last name Fogg?
Yeah.
It's like, has he got a business on the side?
Somebody, they had a lanyard that has Mr. Fogg on it, and I said, you can't wear that. And they're like, no, it's for Mr. Fogg. I'm like, no, it isn't.
So that's a brand of that's like a brand of vape?
Yeah, people in my work have them.
So,
So it's like a Camel,
yeah,
Marlboro, or
yeah. So,
just two cigarette brands.
it's not, I mean, no judgment, I mean, that's, you guys are old enough, that's your business outside here. I hate.
These guys aren't old enough. He's a sophomore.
Well,
Can we borrow Carrie for a picture?
Carrie!
She got an
She's
award.
old enough.
She got an award.
For what?
Recognized Noon Optimist as an outstanding.
As an outstanding citizen?
Is that a,
She is an outstanding
not
citizen.
many people would
It's
keep
youth appreciation.
The pool is very shallow.
So
Yeah, take her.
Corinne's with Shirley. We have to get a picture of the two
Corinne.
together. Can't I think she was the other.
Oh.
Oh.
I never had a chance to love Corinne. Corinne dropped this class before school started.
Did she?
Yeah,
I didn't even think she signed up.
no, she did.
She's in my Spanish.
Her sister was unhappy because I loved her sister, and I'm sure I would have loved Corinne as well. Those Canna Rosa girls. I think there are only two of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're top shelf. Yeah, I was texting with Carter right before school started. She's like, Corinne dropped your class. She changed her schedule. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Is Prestige hard?
Yes. Well, not hard. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Like I had probably 4 hours. Not 4, probably 3.
I spent 7 hours on English yesterday. Or 1,000 words.
She's doing it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna be glad you have her.
Yeah.
I'm awful at English.
Yeah,
You're not really that.
That's
bad.
even better.
You say you're bad, but you're really not that bad.
Gavin, you know the hardest class I ever took in my life? And I have a master's degree in math. And you know the hardest class I ever took in my life was my junior high school English class. Like, it was the hardest class I ever took.
Yes. Right.
Not just English, the hardest class I ever took. It was so freaking hard.
Yeah,
We would read these books, so I would have no clue what it said. I would read for an hour and a half. You can say, what was that about? I have no idea. Like, no idea. And then I'd have to write a paper about it.
For me, that'll work as this class.
I like this.
Then I would have to write a paper about it. After reading a book, I didn't have any idea what it meant. Then I had to write a paper about it.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Explaining all the
You
stuff I
have
don't
time to
understand.
paper about it. We have 40 minutes to write a whole essay.
Oh.
Good enough.
But Gavin, this shouldn't be the hardest class.
Huh?
This shouldn't be your hardest class ever.
Well, I'm sure there will probably be harder classes in the future.
No, I think this class is your hardest class because you made it your hardest class.
That's true.
I think
Like, mine was just strict lack of ability. I sucked. Like, I didn't know, like, your situation here is not at all comparable to my situation in English, because you have ability. I had no
my
ability.
hardest math class was geometry. Oh my god. I hated geometry.
I love geometry.
Yeah, Gavin would sit there and
We were just talking about geometry yesterday, weren't we?
I hate algebra.
Yeah,
I'm good at
Gavin and
geometry.
Jill would sit there and teach me geometry, and they would take the whole
You got Cheryl's too?
We're talking about Cheryl Tuesday.
What did you get? Who worked there? Anna, yeah. What did you get? No, I mean, let's get a good, let's see the Xerox certificate. The Xerox certificate that they're making the copy. Like, let's see the. Well, what kind of cookies? Like, I mean. We're not gonna take it. Okay, this is a really good one. I've had this one.
I don't like so good.
It's subtle though. I don't think it's terrible. I've not had that one.
I think I got this one.
That's a classic. I mean, what's this one?
Chocolate chip.
That
Strawberry.
one's pretty good too. That one's good too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Good job, Carrie.
Do you even know what you did? Like what that's for?
I know Miller nominated me for it. It's just youth appreciation.
Oh, you're appreciated.
I got on a Zoom call on Tuesday with like all my. It's funny because they're like all older and they're all.
Probably just a bunch
Yeah, they
of
did like
old
more mood music and stuff.
So what else do we need to talk about? I feel like we're wasting a day here.
We always do this right before this.
Yeah.
These days are kind of nice, just.
Yeah, I kinda like it.
We already know everything. We have
Calm before the storm.
Yeah.
The calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Calm.
Nicole?
Do you have like an example of the alternate series?
Okay, so someone asked about this last period. Like, we cannot make alternating series harder than it is. Okay? First of all, how do you identify a series that's an alternating series? What's the thing that's going to give it away?
I didn't hear you.
What?
I didn't hear you.
How do you, like, what's gonna give away the fact that a series is alternating? Like, what do you need to see so that you know it's alternating? Well, what does it mean to alternate? Right, so what's going to cause the sign change? Like a -1 to the n power. Or like cosine of n pi, that makes it alternating, right? So if you see it, it's an alternating. What's the first thing that you're going to do to look to see what? Well, yeah, but like, what are you going to do to determine that? The first thing you're going to do is look to see. In fact, you should do this with every series. The first thing you should do is determine, are the terms going to 0? Okay? If it's alternating and the terms are going to 0, it converges. You're done. If it's alternating and the terms are not going to 0, it diverges. In fact, if the terms are not going to 0 anytime, the series diverges. Anytime. So alternating series literally is if the terms are going to 0, it's convergent. And they're alternating. Okay? So like here's one right here. Like, oh, I got one in the pocket. Are those alternating?
Yes.
Yes. Are the terms going to 0?
Yes.
I'm waiting for Nicole to tell me.
I'm not sure how to tell this.
If what's going to 0? We want to know, are these terms, is this right here going to 0? The terms. You take this limit. Well, actually, not the -1, because like, if without the -1, are they approaching 0? Yes. So that converges. Now, is it absolute or conditional? That's another discussion. Okay? It's conditional if we decide this converges, but this doesn't, without the -1. But in this particular case, this converges and this converges, so it's absolute. Okay? Like, don't make an alternating series harder than it is. Yeah.
Well, on the test, if we just like, if we let's say that geometric theory, if we converge, we just write geometric test converges.
Yeah, there are some geometric series that are also alternating, but if it's geometric, then just go with geometric. That's what. Absolutely.
I didn't know if we have to like, if we're let's get for them, we can write out one.
No. No, if it's geometric,
Yeah, I was gonna say we can do it in our head, we don't have to put it on paper.
you want it.
Like if we can do the test in our head, like for the geometric piece, you have to write out like R equals this, which is greater than or less than 1.
I would just say, I mean, if you say geometric, it diverges, and you just tell me what R was.
Are there any math classes that have partial differential equations that are prerequisite? Like this? Trying to think about that.
I would love to see how your brain works. Like I would just love to have a day with just like your brain. Just to experience it.
Where partial differential equations are a prerequisite. As an undergraduate class, probably not. As a graduate, yes. An undergraduate class, partial differential equations is a class. So,
Do you have to be a graduate student to take a graduate class?
no.
And it was like at Brick State, you can be an honors diploma student to take an honors class.
In a lot of cases, 400 level classes in mathematics are also graduate classes. They're duly numbered. Because depending on when you're going for a graduate degree in mathematics, depending on what your area of focus ends up being, like you may end up taking a course that is an introductory course that you didn't take as an undergraduate, but you're going to take as a graduate student, and so they count it as graduate credit rather than undergraduate. Like when I was in graduate school, I was in a topology class that was, I had undergraduates in there that were seniors, and I was a graduate student. Topology was a great class. But topology is kind of a big thing. I was in a set theoretic topology class, not so much like where you just study donuts and coffee mugs, but
You guys Sam or Sam?
There was a kid in my preschool that went by Sam. They were real jerks, so I don't like Sam.
Alright, fair enough.
I don't do that. I don't think I told that.
I went to preschool with
he went to preschool with a bunch of jerks.
I said I went to preschool with April 22.
Avery Garing,
Yeah.
I think that she is my neighbor's niece.
I just know because I played soccer with her, but like, I don't know.
My neighbor, her maiden name is Garing. Her younger brother, who's about my age.
She tried out for Fairmont, like varsity soccer, her freshman year. She made JV. Her mom like put up a huge fight and got mad at the coach, and then she transferred to Alter and now she plays for Alter, and then played for Alter JV her freshman year.
Oh, maybe that's not her. I don't know. Maybe.
She didn't make varsity. Yeah. It was a whole big. But they're a big Alter family. They are a big Alter family.
Oh, well, maybe that is them.
But she just I think she only wanted to be on varsity, so she went to Fairmont. And she won. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it was a whole big thing.
Yeah, my neighbors went to school.
And then they called us white trash. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So we were gonna wear white trash bags to the Alter game, but our coach still wouldn't let us.
yeah, I think my neighbors were the same graduate classes. But see, we don't.
What?
We don't really. We just pretend.
That makes sense.
school.
See, he knows. He knows.
And how we know that he knows? Because you're seeing him right.
That's a lot.
You should
I
compete
know.
in a big year.
I should what?
Compete in a big year. And do a big year.
I don't understand what you mean.
You know what a big year?
Is that
You know what that is?
You know what he's talking about?
Big year. Big year?
Yes.
Big year. You don't know what that is? That's a competition? Yeah, it's
A
like
big year?
big year is a competition, I guess. That's what it is. Yeah, what is that? I need an explanation.
Give it a, here, come here.
A big year? How does nobody know?
This, you didn't do this correctly.
Yeah.
Because all, what you did here
You have
is you told me that the terms were approaching zero. You didn't actually do the limit comparison. The limit comparison test involves another series.
So there's, well, it is. So the group is 6 people. One of them is not sure yet.
You set up the ratio test correctly here,
Three of them are.
but if the ratio test equals 1, the test fails, yeah.
You're, I don't know how you did that. Maybe you can just go over
So, yeah, you read and find out what happened.
Rachel, what is an egg-laying animal called?
Oh, what?
An animal that lays eggs.
Not a mammal? I was about to say a mammal.
You don't remember. Mrs. Bowser taught you that in 1st grade.
What is it?
Oviparous.
Oh, I was not gonna get that, so. That.
So disappointed. So disappointed.
The thing that we
Yeah.
did in the first worksheet where we had to make the partial fractions or whatever.
That's true.
Telescoping?
Yeah, is that gonna be something that might be on the test?
You do not need to.
Okay. What did we do? It's like one thing that we did before.
It really
Yeah.
is. No, of course I didn't do that. So sweet of you, I guess I could put it into the box. I don't want to do it right now.
Didn't do it not on C though? C was a C in the front.
Oh, I mean, I don't. But, I mean, I'll turn it in, which is better than 0. I mean. I was taking pictures of Grace last period. Okay.
Well, she's so hot.
Yes. Oh my God, Ashley, of course. I only need you left. We need to take a day.
Let me know what day you wanna do it.
I'm not doing it tomorrow because I am just so tired. Photographed on Monday, I photographed on Thursday, which was Thursday. Let her know. Hello.
Boy,
What's up? Where's Joe?
Johanna is at Ohio Wesleyan.
Joe Hannah, you gotta call her full name.
She calls me Wallace.
I call you Wall.
Yeah?
You deserve it though.
Boy, what's a big year?
You know, you just looked it up. How do you spell that?
You like it?
Oh,
No, he's asking if I know. I don't
Yes.
know.
I have a dress pic
What?
that you wanted to see, right?
He does not know about.
What is this, like, what is the context of a big
Sounds
year?
pretty obscure to me.
What is the context?
scared.
You are a bird. You
I
are
don't
about to
know.
undertake
You're
a
there.
big year.
You see lots of birds in 1 year. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's me, there's the back.
Yeah, it's-
Basically a giant bird
Here's that
watching
part.
constantly.
Why is it called a big year?
Just read
I don't know.
it.
This is odd.
They fucking person back.
You see that?
Reverse the back.
And I have two blackberries on the floor.
Get those in there?
I'm just very distraught.
Jimmy.
So I still don't have a crown, yes. You should not have waited that long for them to ship it. I ordered it a month ago.
I wish you. I wish you.
You should have,
I'm gonna try it.
I'm really.
Jimmy, what did you get on last night?
So I was reading a book.
Within like the half a month mark,
You
you
could
should
have gone on still.
thought about it. Been like, I did. We contacted them. What did it say? They didn't get back to us. I don't know if they were parallel
You
to
should have just kept calling him.
They didn't have a phone number that you could only email.
Oof.
Their phone number was like out of service or something.
French.
That was kind of cringe.
Wallace, what was in that bowl?
You wanna come look at it?
No.
Is that broccoli?
Broccoli salad,
What is the other miscellaneous food?
bacon,
never had
red
broccoli
onion.
No.
I love broccoli, but I'm not putting it on my body.
I'm gonna try it. I hate broccoli, but I don't mind broccoli salad usually.
I'm sorry that I've never had broccoli salad. I'm sorry that I've never had broccoli salad.
You should be.
Better be.
What? What's in it?
Red onion and bacon and cheese. And like ranch.
That's
I'll say broccoli.
bacon.
What?
I did this. I have many cucumbers. They're so cute. You want one, Mom? Mini cucumber.
I'm okay with things.
Today, Jimmy, that service project, I was late, and I only got one advisory, like a single advisory I went to talk to. She just kept talking to me. I tried to leave, but she just wouldn't stop talking.
Oh, that mess, whoever, when that message sends, how many just save it? Just not send it. What?
It is failing.
The message was gonna send eventually.
Mother, it is failing.
That does not hail.
It's very light hail, but it's not snow.
I don't care.
It is precipitating.
Do we?
Yeah, I gave her 20. And then some extra money, so.
First game, 780.
I don't know why he did that, could have been 8. It was actually 7.
Oh,
or
you
8,
shook
so
it this
it's
time,
even
Jimmy.
closer to 8 than that.
So, I think you yelled at me when I shook it at Noah's
No idea.
house. Notice how it's doing that.
Right.
On the outside, it usually doesn't matter. It tastes the same.
I think, yeah, that's what you said. I feel like the end tastes different if you don't shake it. You get all the particulates.
Oh,
What?
I just missed my mouse so hard.
I wasn't very smart.
No.
Kind of not very casual. Look who's finally doing their calculus. Yeah, I don't think it's actually rain. Yesterday, when it was very clearly raining, my phone said it was. I mean, very clearly snowing. My phone said it was raining. So. At like 6 o'clock or something, it was like very clearly snow though.
Oh yeah.
Like it was like coming down. Crazy.
Coming down.
I'm yelling timber.
Ew! Are those raisins?
Raisins are bussin'.
But in a savory thing?
Oh wait, where are they?
What?
Where are the raisins?
In this.
I just thought you meant raisins in general.
No, I don't think they fit with this. In general, they're fine.
I mean, I've had like cranberries in a turkey wrap before.
That's good.
It was kind of weird. I didn't like the texture of it.
I've had these sandwiches that have like cranberry jelly and turkey on them.
It's basically Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
What are they blowing at the chapel? Yeah.
Is that not the fit?
No, that's the fit.
I think there's, like, eyeshadow. Here.
Ew, that's not fun.
No, because I got it in my eye. No, it just made it.
Not so controlled. No, I don't care. I don't know how to get it out.
I don't know. It's just whatever you what is that?
Well, I have exactly the one makeup look that I can do, so the prom dress better match them.
Yeah, I can do it.
Because otherwise I'm gonna be rocking up in a green dress and some orange eyeshadow. Do you need green eyeshadow?
Irish flag. Oh,
The
God.
federal government calling you on your personal phone,
Probably not. I have one.
or possibly coming
I'll
to your
do it.
house
Okay,
to
so I'm like,
ask
I thought
about
that
my ability
I
to
was-
use the secret.
I was told about that.
several color palettes, I just always go for the same one.
You could do the same look with a different color.
Yeah, but like.
No! That could have actually been a lot worse, so I'm not that worried.
Play pair
Yeah,
soccer.
that was easy, that's that.
I know.
Here you go.
No.
Just touch the ground. Just like a rock.
It just touched the
Just
ground.
go.
Absolutely.
If this was right, I would eat it, but it's like hard as a rock.
Oh, That's so funny.
Not for sure.
this
Okay,
orange
it's all-
better
it's
just
fine.
Oh my
touched-
fucking
I've
god, you
seen
can do it.
Yeah?
Molly,
What?
the floor is disgusting.
Is it though?
Yes.
It really doesn't matter.
Would you eat something off the floor that was dropped in the bathroom at work?
After we just cleaned it, for sure.
So it had chemicals on it?
You've seen that floor.
I've cleaned that floor.
You've seen the water after.
Yeah,
you
that water's
cleaned
pretty
that floor.
nasty.
Okay,
All right, let's pair up. It's fine.
Especially I am eating, so because I'm not talking about dirty ass pool floor.
There's a lot of feet juice.
I
it's
know.
disgusting.
It's like it
The
turns the.
water turns like,
I'm gonna
dark
spit
black.
out my food onto the floor. Do it and then eat it again.
See, the thing is, this isn't like wet on the outside, so it doesn't matter. It's not picking up the grody stuff.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize I was eating it.
Dust.
Whatever you say, Wally.
Big chill, getting a stronger immune system.
this is your vaccine.
I got my vaccine on April 1st. So Jimmy said they probably just gave me COVID.
So I'll leave you to text me the address.
Okay, I can do that. I honestly, I'd rather can't visit my house because I don't answer my phone. But yeah, I think your parents killed my parents. Because my mom's up here. Parents had at the Bowman relays.
Might be harder to convince Mitchell that it's okay for stuff we're going
It'd be a lot harder to convince Mitchell.
when it can't be a teacher,
That's kind of weird.
separate from school. Not included in classroom.
I mean, you need. You just gotta convince Mitchell that the federal government already has his information, so it's fine.
Maybe I should just tell him. Just give me your address.
Don't tell him what's for.
I should just make it out to be the worst thing. And then
We're by the, like, sushi.
They're gonna
Somebody
mind wipe us
pointing at-
after it happens.
White claw, I'm like,
Or you'll just tell them it already happened.
Nasty.
there's only one flavor is good and grapefruit, and they didn't even have it. They had apple cinnamon.
Also, why was he offering me alcohol?
I think it was just Josh, but
Actually, he offered me whiskey too, so I don't know why.
we also gave it to you, and I was like, why would I want that?
Still drinking the whiskey shot like that.
I don't know why you did that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it was behind me. I would have coughed if I knew it was behind me.
Just play off a little bit.
Yeah, I would have at least pretended. Or like spit a little into the sink to really play it up.
Maybe drop a little bit.
Just for fun. No, instead I knocked it back. And he almost cried. He was like, "I was looking at you and being a 16-year-old too."
At least you can't get as bad as Tristan.
What did you get? Besides being an alcoholic.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, he's getting there.
Tristan's real good.
Well,
Please stop.
Molly,
I have so many friends who are alcoholics, I can't do it again.
we'll regulate him.
Molly, did
Yes,
you say you get 10 folders on sale?
I did, but I am
$7 right now.
7, maybe I will.
The best at the SBA.
Oh, I think
If I'm,
we could
if I'm
argue about
dipping
that.
in,
No.
okay, $7 out of my
Wait,
emergency
what do you
fund.
Titanfall
is
2.
the best FPS game.
It is.
I remember when I get home,
Alright.
I will buy it.
Yeah. I got it for Adele.
Nice.
Show me some pictures, Wallace.
Of what?
I saw. So I can judge it properly.
I don't have pictures of it.
I've seen some gameplay.
Look it up,
It's
shithead.
fun. I have no service.
You have a Chromebook.
No.
I'm not gonna look up Titanfall gameplay on the Chromebook week.
That's just fun.
I don't need this fucking thing. It's going back in the lunchbox. Go in there.
Are you guys dating?
Yeah, she'll be.
Okay.
Dude, when Kevin came over, he was like, "Can I try your birth control?"
Absolutely not.
I don't have the supply for that.
I forgot to take my last night because we were in a good one.
It wouldn't even do anything.
It wouldn't.
Literally
It would do absolutely nothing. It would taste like nothing because they taste like nothing.
He was like, "Can I please try it? Can I please try it?" I would be so
No.
disappointed. He's like,
Have you tried powder before, Kevin? That's what it tastes like.
he's like, "I want to know what the side effects would be." I'm like, "Well,
It's
You're taking one of them.
It's like 2
And then you gain weight.
hell. Oh no.
and he was like, "You're such a bitch." I was like, "You're not letting you try my birth control."
Honestly. Such a bitch.
Right? And then he asked to try my Zoloft, and I was like, "Motherfucker, you're on
Get your own
Zoloft."
Zoloft.
I was like, "You literally have your own and a higher dosage than me." It's like, I'm not giving you more.
It's more fun to take other people's drugs. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Kevin moved.
And then he called Ella and asked to try her birth control. She was like, "Kevin, we have been over this."
Problem child.
He is.
I've let it run for a while.
What is that? Oh.
The orbit is shifting.
Oh, so your chromosome now? Look what you can do.
Do my calculus homework that I've been putting off.
No, you look up. No, you put it off more, and then you look up Titanfall gameplay. Because
Why?
you can't. You can't. I don't fucking want to. You can't.
You don't want to. Why am I
You can't
supposed to
just
look
say
it
a
up?
game is the best FPS of all time.
But
without backing it up.
what would you like argue is better? I'm just curious.
I'd say literally anything else, but
Like what?
if Minecraft had guns, I think that would be
But it
a
doesn't.
really well. I
I'm
don't
not
think it
counting
does.
Minecraft gun mods.
Minecraft has guns?
Minecraft, you can get a mod.
Yeah, you can get
anything.
mods.
Where?
But there's gun mods. Wait, you're playing it on console, right?
It wouldn't
No.
work. It only works for Java.
No, she can get the gun mods.
If you have Java, you can get
I
it.
literally
I have
I just get building mods and farming mods.
She's
Lame.
It's kind of boring.
You're such a bisexual. Dear God.
pretty.
I don't just play Minecraft, just in case you thought that was the case.
I don't know. The only games you've talked about so far was Minecraft.
I just
only
didn't
play
want to
Minecraft
expose
on
myself
Sims
to playing
and
Overwatch.
Overwatch is okay. It looks okay. I still haven't played it.
That's because you're trash. You're trash, dude.
Yeah, I'm not very good at competitive games.
I like the way Overwatch looks, but their lack of new content is like sad.
Hey, we're getting
I
Overwatch.
also just don't like
We're getting Overwatch
Blizzard.
That doesn't fucking
eventually.
count as new content.
Eventually.
And also, it's not going to be good. I'm telling you right now, Overwatch 2 is
First of all, that Rome map looks fucking baller. I know it's gonna be for that pushing bullshit. I don't care, but that is a
it's gonna suck. Always been in development
I don't know.
many years.
Their capital's gone, so.
If I can.
So you guys need to play Dead by Daylight.
Start a game. Get that game.
Who would also play Kristen?
Yes. You can do 5.
Okay, then maybe I will if it's not just us. Because if it's just 2 people, I'm still too anxious to play.
Mhm.
It needs to be more, we need to be in a competition, so let's get
I'm trying to get Wally to buy it.
How much is it right now?
I'll check.
Because I'll buy it for like under 10.
I
I
think
don't think it's under 10.
I think when I got it,
But,
but I also bought like all the expansion packs with it because they were all on sale for $20. Like the whole pack.
yeah.
Somebody bought it for me, and I think it was 15 or 20.
I don't know, I've spent way too much money on games recently.
Like what?
I bought the Master Chief Collection. This was on sale for like 20
For what?
PC. Yeah, no, 20 is not bad for that because it's
I
like,
don't know what that
yeah,
is.
it's all the Halo games except for 5 and whatever you want.
Hey, you bought it for $20.
Yeah.
It's,
I just get whatever free games they have on Epic, and then maybe somebody might be doing every once in a while.
Yeah, I got my free games on Epic.
There were 3 free games in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and there's 2 this week, except one of them's Alien Isolation, which I already got from them for free. So like,
What's the other one?
I don't know what the other one is.
Because I haven't checked. I
It's
haven't
some
looked
other
at
shit
it.
game.
the only 3 games that I've gotten from it that I actually played is Solitaire.
Oh my god, I played
Battlefront 2, I played a lot of
Did
because
you get Remnant from the Ashes?
I got Battlefront 2 for free from them, and that's the only one I actually have downloaded. The other ones I've just been getting and keeping in my library.
You should get.
I know, I want to get Hades at some point.
If they ever bring Remnant back for free, you should get it. It was so good.
I'm gonna, anything that they put on for free, I'm gonna get.
I know. I have so many games in my library.
Yeah, my library is really big, and there's only like 4 games downloaded, and one of them's because of Dell sat on my computer. Played Rocket League.
They also,
The deluxe edition is on sale right now, 50% off, from $30 to $15.
Okay.
And that comes with the base game, the official soundtrack.
How much is just the base game?
20. So $5 more.
Wally loves some deals.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like a coupon amount.
they also, Wally, they had Civ 6 for free.
Yeah, that was like the first game that they gave out for free, and I don't think they've given it out since. They also gave out GTA 5.
And yeah, I got the
They
GTA
also gave
5.
up
And then,
Borderlands.
yeah, they gave out like all Borderlands games.
Really? I already had Borderlands 2. I don't have 1. I'm not gonna get it.
They gave out the pre-sequel.
I got the pre-sequel and 2 on my PlayStation for free because PS Plus was giving it out for free.
They also put Abzu on there.
I have you.
I love it.
What
speedrun
is
that
it?
game. It's just it's an exploration story game.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. It's just supposed to be kind of like an open world exploring pretty game.
But it's also got a storyline, so it's not really open world. Like it gives you a place you have to go.
Okay.
Abzu. I think I
don't like
played
the
it.
ocean though, so
I finished it in
That's
like
like a shark tank here.
3 hours.
Sure.
Hey!
You try to play
Oh,
free
you can
game,
go
you
to-
excuse me.
Yeah, that is kind of mean.
Uninstall.
Immediately.
So.
We're still live.
Okay.
We're still live. This